Hey guys, so you asked for a superimpose tutorial, so that is what I'm going to do here. So the first thing you're going to do is when you open the app, you're going to go to the squares on the left corner. Then I'm going to push background. What I'm doing here is I pushed pick color, and I'm just going to use a black color. I always edit in the 1x1, but there's a ton of different choices. As you can see, I'm going through them right now, but I always edit in 1x1, so that's the one that I chose. The next thing you're going to do is push import foreground. So now you can import whatever photos you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and scroll down to the photo that I want to choose. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this photo of Yule. I'm just going to drop down. And one thing you want to always make sure is that your photo is in original mode. It's not in a screen mode or darken mode or lighten mode. There's tons of different modes that you can edit. You can put a photo in this app in. So you want to always make sure it's original because then if you put it in any other one, it'll mess everything up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is make sure that this is in original, which it is. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put that on here. So one thing you'll notice is that you cannot move the picture at all unless it's in transform mode. If I have it in home, it won't move at all. That's just how you can kind of zoom in or zoom out just on your project, but you can't actually move the photo if you're in the home mode. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to mask this. So you're going to obviously go to mask, and there's a ton of different tools, but I don't use any of them. Honestly, I don't really even know what most of those even do. So the two that I use is the eraser, the brush, and another brush. It's like a smart brush. I don't really use that one that often, but the main ones I use is the eraser and the brush. So to erase stuff, you use the brush. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. I accidentally pushed the eraser. I always get them mixed up, but I'm going to use the brush, and that's just going to erase some of the photo, and that's what I'm doing here. Now I'm just going to blur the mask. This will just kind of make sure that your photo doesn't end up looking choppy, and it blends really well. On the first photo, it's not really as necessary, but later it is a very, very helpful tool when you're editing. So I just used the blur mask just to show you guys here, but you'll see that I'll use it every single time I merge a photo. So now I'm going to go ahead and import a new foreground. So I'm going to go ahead and go down and find another picture of Yule, and I'm picking this one. It's practically the same as the other one. They're both, he's both yelling at both of them, but you gotta get hype. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing. I'm gonna go to mask, and I'm going to use the brush tool, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove all of the photo that I don't want because it's blocking Yule, and well, the one picture Yule is blocking the other picture Yule, so I'm gonna go ahead and mask that out so it looks all nice and fancy. So this is when you can kind of get more precise or less precise with your masking. So sometimes you can get lazy with it and not go super in detail. You can see here that I'm zooming in very far to get these tiny little crevices of his grips masked out. Yet if I just left it like that, no one would probably care or notice, but sometimes you think it looks better, and most of the time it does look better, but sometimes you can't really even tell if you don't even take a second to do it. So this is a little helpful tool I'm doing right here. I'm tapping. That just makes it blend softer, and it's not as harsh. So that's what I was doing there, if you're wondering about that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just keep checking to make sure it looks good, because once you merge a photo, it's merged forever and you can't undo anything. So I'm just going ahead and double checking everything. You can also go to filter, and that's kind of obvious that you can filter your photo. Um, so sometimes I use that, sometimes I don't. Sometimes you may want one photo in black and white and one in color, which is a really cool contrast, and sometimes I do that. Sometimes I don't, so I was just kind of messing around with it there. So obviously I just put a new photo on here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I've done for all the photos. Make sure the photo is in normal or original. It's the same thing. I said original earlier, but it says transform on Superimpose. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is do the same thing I've done with all the pictures. I'm just going ahead and masking it out. The little magnifying glass on the top, you can like make it to where it's not even on the picture and you're just focusing on that. I never use that, but I kind of just clicked on it to see what it looked like. But now I'm just going ahead and masking it out again, which I've done for all of them. One thing that I do with hair is I tap. If I do just a line across, it'll kind of remove the hair, and you'll obviously has some nice hair, and it's not very like straight line. It's not a straight line at all. He has like little hairs sticking out all over the place. So I want to make sure I don't just like do a line or his hair look really weird. So I was doing little tapping lines to make it soft and make sure I don't lose any of the definition of his hair there. So now I'm obviously just removing more of the photo from his arm. When you do a photo on top of photos that have already been merged, and this one's like on top, this one's going to grab your attention more. So these are the ones you want to focus more on how good your masking looks. Obviously, you can focus on masking really well on all your photos, but this is when it's really, really important. So that's why I'm being super precise just around his finger and stuff like that. Also, a lot of the picture is still on his face in the other photo, so I'm trying to make sure I get rid of all of that. So that is what I'm doing. Can still do it. And it'll take me a while because I got very into this. And so there's still more everywhere. And that's when you can kind of just mess around with it. Obviously, if you want to move the photo even more, you can go to transform and you could flip them upside down, tilt the photo, whatever you want to do. I tilted it because his finger was kind of like awkwardly close to the other photo, and I just thought it looked better if I made him like more pointed up. So you can see how I made sure that his hair wasn't like a straight line. That's how I did that, was the tapping method. So of course I'm just going in and making sure I get every little last bit of the photo, so there's not any excess. You can see there's still more over here near his arm that I missed, and that's a really good thing to do, is just to go ahead and just keep checking and make sure you don't miss anything, because it's really easy. And also when you merge something, it's stuck like that forever. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but if you do merge something, you can't just go back, and if you missed a giant part, you can't do anything. So now what I just did is I'm uploading a light leak. If you don't know what a light leak is, it's just a really cool filter with, obviously there's light leaks on it. There's Afterlight is an app you can use to make these filters or use their presets. Or you can just go online and just look up light leak preset, and a ton come up. I found this one on Google, and it took me like 5 seconds to find, and it's a really, really good one. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm just going to go ahead and find some more. And this is when you can play around with your photo a lot. So see, I put this on here, and it was way too dark. So I just went ahead and went to transform into settings, and I put it in a different mode. I put it on screen mode, which is it's a good mode to use when putting on light leaks. It's normally the one you should use, but sometimes it looks better when you use a different mode. So that's when you can play around with this a lot, and it's really up to you. I can make these look a lot different if I edited them different, but I think this is the way I really like it. I went ahead and put this one on because I love it, and there's not really much to do with it. So I just put it on there, and that's it. And I'm done. Now I just got to add some text. But that's all you do. If you guys have any more questions, you can go ahead and DM me on my Instagram. And I'd love to help you guys. This is how I started my account. This is how I started my whole passion for this account. So obviously I would love to help you guys. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you guys for watching.